Welcome back. Yep, still on the hockey set for this video, as it is a video that requires a whiteboard, obviously. And jumping back into the favorite songs list. Yes, I have written all the song names on the board. I do feel like that's what about half of each of the first two videos in this playlist have been. And so there won't be any real, tension in this until we get to the top 100. Top 100, I'll still write them on the board and all that, but I felt like for this entry, and for entries that follow this, I will just write the names on the board and we'll go through it and we'll discuss each of the songs, starting with 1350. So we jump back into the countdown, and it's D12's My Band, which is a song I really liked when it came out. There are a lot of songs, and it goes with movies and TV shows too, where I might really enjoy them when they come out, and then as time goes by, my opinion may change. And My Band by D12 is one of those songs that would have been really high up if I'd done that countdown, say, 20 years ago. But at this point in time, it's 1350. I don't listen to rap and hip-hop like I used to. Don't be surprised when rap and hip-hop is shown in this playlist on occasion. Number 1349 is the band Earshot and their one big hit song, which was Wait. Earshot was basically like Tool, and ultimately I think that's why they didn't last. They really sounded like Tool to the point where both my wife and I, who were not together at the time that Earshot came out with their initial song Wait, we both thought it was Tool the first time we heard it on the radio. So yeah, it's not a great way to start things if you're a band. Number 1348, Silverchair, and the song Tomorrow. Now, that's one of my wife's favorite bands, being Silverchair. Not one of my favorite bands, but there are a couple of Silverchair songs that ended up on this list. Not this portion, just the one song on this portion of the list. Number 1347, Eminem. So Eminem shows up on this part of the board, or this part of the countdown, I think 3 times between Eminem and D12. Eminem's The Real Slim Shady, coming in 1347. It's a song that was definitely overplayed, which happens a lot. It's a fun song. It's a clever song. I don't know how many times I would necessarily seek it out on my own, and that's one of the deciding factors to where songs are on this list, is so how much do I listen to it, how much do I actually like it. And so Real Slim Shady ends up at 1347. It's one of those songs, if it comes on the radio, I'll leave it on there, but I'm not necessarily going to seek it out. 1346, Weird Al Yankovic, the song Fat, which is a cover of Bad by Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's Bad is not on the list. There was a rule I used to have that I didn't include parody songs in my favorite songs lists, that either the original qualified or it didn't. That is now different. Now, all these decades later, I am no longer holding myself to that, so Weird Al Yankovic's on the board here, and he's on the board in other places too, as we go up through this countdown. Number 1345 is Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears, a song I wasn't a huge fan of when it initially came out, and then it was featured in Donnie Darko, and it made me like the song. Basically, if a song was in Donnie Darko, I probably ended up liking it more than I did before. So yeah, Head Over Heels, Tears for Fears, good song, fun song. 1344, 18 in Life by Skid Row. So another 80s song. How many 80s songs do we have in a row here? It's 3 at this point, but it is a heavily 80s influenced list because I grew up in the 80s and early 90s. So that's the music I feel like I connect the most with emotionally, and so there's a lot of 80s songs, including Skid Row's 18 in Life. So, and from my understanding, Sebastian Bach, always really, really good live, the lead singer of Skid Row. I do remember, I think Skid Row was opening for Motley Crue when I was in middle school. Everybody went to the concert. I couldn't be bothered. I was not a Motley Crue fan. Was it Motley Crue or Poison? Either way, Skid Row was opening, and everybody who went to that concert, it seemed, came out with a Skid Row t-shirt. So I thought, okay, A, Skid Row's really good, and B, the headliner wasn't very good because everybody came out with the opener's t-shirt. Number 1343 is a very fun band, Little Big, and their song Uno. Uno is a very danceable song. It's going to get stuck in your head. In fact, if you know the song Uno by Little Big, I'm sorry, it's probably stuck in your head now. Little Big does great. They put out great videos, great content. They're a really fun band, and they're one of those bands that if they were playing in North America, I'd be like, I have to go see them. So yeah, they're one of those bands I do keep an eye on. 1342, Velcro Fly by ZZ Top. ZZ Top is a band that I really, really enjoyed in the mid-'80s. I had the Eliminator and Afterburner albums. I did prefer Afterburner, even though Eliminator has a couple of really, really good songs. I felt like as an album, I thought Afterburner was better. 1341, Janie's Got a Gun by Aerosmith, a song that I kind of got tired in the 80s for being overplayed when it came out. It is an interesting one. It's one of those ones that gets played a lot, and I sometimes when I hear it being played, I'm thinking, do people understand what Janie's Got a Gun is about? Because people might not be quite as, dancy about it if they knew what it was about. They might not be quite as celebratory when it comes. Like, I don't know. It's always weird to me at sporting events and just in general when songs come on. People are like, I love the song, and they dance to it and stuff. And it's like, do you hear the topic? Or especially commercials. Commercials now put songs in there that really shouldn't be there. Maybe I'll do a list video on that at some point in time. Number 1340, Give It Away by Red Hot Chili Peppers. That's stuck in your head because it's stuck in mine now that I've said it. Red Hot Chili Peppers, a band that I was okay. Like, I never sought out seeing them live. I don't think I would go see them live. But there are a couple of their songs, including this one, that are on the countdown. But there's a lot of their songs that are not. Californication, great video. I did not enjoy the song all that much. Definitely not worthy of being on the countdown at any rate. Number 1339, Twist and Shout by the Beatles. Not a lot of Beatles songs on the list, but I felt like Twist and Shout should be there. As a kid of the 80s, guess what? Yep, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, when he's in the parade, he's lip-syncing. He's lip-syncing pretty well in there. 1338, Don Henley's Boys of Summer. I know that there will be those that think it's sacrilege for me to have it that far down. Me, back in 1984, I didn't enjoy the song. I loved All She Wants to Do Is Dance. Didn't really like Boys of Summer. It has grown on me over the years. There's been some fun covers for the song as well. I don't think the covers are on the list, but this one is. So Don Henley's Boys of Summer, and you're definitely going to see some Don Henley the rest of the way. Definitely some boy singers as well. Number 1337, The Power of Love by Laura Branigan. Yes, that Power of Love that has been covered and covered and covered. The only one I put on my playlist on this favorites list is Laura Branigan's. Laura Branigan, one of my original crushes ever. Absolutely love her version of Power of Love. I think it's the best one. Anybody who disagrees with me, it's okay to be wrong. It's fine. It's okay. Number 1336 is Jen Wigmore's Kill of the Night. Jen Wigmore had a few fun songs. I was kind of surprised she didn't stick around longer than she did in terms of pop success in North America. But she is 1336. And I'm not sure why she didn't stick around that long, but sometimes that happens with pop stars, doesn't it? And I'm saying in North America because it doesn't mean Jen Wigmore hasn't had a very successful career elsewhere. I just say on this side of the pond, not a lot of songs of hers ended up making the charts. Number 1335, Huey Lewis and the News, I Want a New Drug. This, of course, was ripped off by Ghostbusters. Ray Parker Jr. was also rude in that Ghostbusters is, I think, objectively a better song than I Want a New Drug. I Want a New Drug is... It's an interesting video for I Want a New Drug. When I started watching rock videos back in 1980, I'm going to say 1984. I want to say 83 though, but I remember I Want a New Drug being in the top 10. And that was the first song from Huey Lewis and the News I'd heard, and I wasn't a huge fan. Eventually I heard other songs of theirs, went back to it and went, it's okay. And so it's on the list. Definitely belongs on the list, but not that high up. 1334, The Beach Boys, Kokomo. I think this is the only Beach Boys song on the list. I think that's it. Not a huge Beach Boys fan. Never was. Kokomo's a fun song, though. I think it's helped by the fact that Elizabeth Shue was in the movie for... It's Cocktail. Cocktail's the movie that's from, right? And so... Even though I wasn't a huge fan of Cocktail, the movie, it had Elizabeth Shue in it. She was one of my biggest crushes at the time. I mean, coming out of Karate Kid, I think almost every guy in the 80s had a crush on her. So, yeah, Kokomo, Beach Boys, number 1334. 1333, The Way I Am, Eminem. So Eminem's here again. The Way I Am is, it's interesting. I think with Eminem, part of the reason that I really like his songs is the rhymes, the words that are used. And he's very smart. He's clever in his writing. At least he was at that point. I think as he got more and more successful, I think some of the clever ideas he had were overshadowed by some of the more questionable decisions made with the songs. Some of the songs are just dumb that he came up with after that. But yeah, The Way I Am is a good song. 1332, Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz. So we're into the 90s with Lenny Kravitz here. Fly Away it's a harmless, fun little Lenny Kravitz song. I think that's his biggest hit. That and American Woman, I would think, would be his two biggest hits. American Woman is on the list, as well as this one, American Woman, clearly higher up. I think American Woman is one of those few that I have both the Guess Who version and then the cover as well, which is Lenny Kravitz, I think. 1331, Love Is by Alannah Myles. Alannah Myles, an artist that I liked a lot. The thing that I always found weird was she was produced by Christopher Ward. Christopher Ward was a VJ on Much Music, and I had no idea that he produced music, and then there it was. And I think he was romantically involved with Alannah Myles for a while there, too. But either way, Alannah Myles had some good songs, and I know she's known for Black Velvet. She had other good songs, not just Black Velvet, and Love Is was her first song that I remember seeing a video for in Canada. And since she's Canadian, there is definitely Canadian content in my countdown videos as well. 1330, Rhythm of Love by Scorpions. It's cheesy. It's cheesy. It's Scorpions. It's Scorpions. It has to be cheesy. And whenever I talk about the Scorpions, I have to double back onto Rammstein. And the fact that I think it was Richard of Rammstein that was asked about why are Rammstein so popular? What do you credit that to? And his answer was, people are tired of the Scorpions. So he was kidding, but I always thought that was a funny quote. And so Rhythm of Love, 1330, it's got a really good riff. Rhythm of Love is a good riff. It is cheesy because it's the Scorpions, but yeah. Number 1329, Joan Jett's I Hate Myself for Loving You. Joan Jett, very good artist, really peaked in the late 80s, it felt like. Although when I listened back to her older stuff too, she had some really, really good songs. Of course, the Runaways were pretty darn good too. So yeah, I Hate Myself for Loving You, 1329. I do remember my mother playing that loudly, and I used to think, is she playing that for Dad? 1328, Walk on Water by Eddie Money. I loved Walk on Water. That was number one on my favorite songs list for, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks. Eddie Money music, the reason I like it is it's just as positive. And a lot of the 80s stuff that I like is just very positive. It's very happy. It's very optimistic. And Walk on Water is an optimistic song that you love someone and they will eventually love you back, which was the message of 89% of 80s music. Was if you love her hard enough, she will love you back. She hasn't yet. Just more flowers. Give her more attention. Follow her home from school. Like, just stuff that as a teenager, yeah, so there you go. Walk on Water. If I could walk on water, if I could find some way to prove. I still remember. 1327 is Britney Spears, Womanizer. I'm always torn on Britney Spears songs because I understand she lip syncs in concert. I understand her actual singing voice at this point. Not fantastic, but her songs can be fun. So at some point, I'm just like, you know what? Britney's songs are fun. I'm not buying the albums. I'm not going to her concerts. So she's not making any money off of me. Womanizer's a fun song. It just is. And for me, when I'm jogging and I'm looking for music to listen to for when I'm on the treadmill, Britney Spears songs work. 1326, getting to the halfway portion of this part of the countdown. Don't Ya by Pussycat Dolls. Another fun dance song. We're at least into one that was released in the 21st century, so there you go. They're not all 20th century songs. But Don't Ya was a fun debut song from Pussycat Dolls. Eventually, it became the Nicole Scherzinger Band, which was too bad because there were some very talented members, I thought, of the band. The all-girl group being as it is. And then eventually they reunited and it didn't work. But I felt like it could have been in part because Melody wasn't there. I know all their names. 1325, Slide by Goo Goo Dolls. I know I'm tired of that song too. It did get overplayed when it came out. But Slide is still, it's got this really good hook to it. And it is one of those hopeful songs too. It's just, I want to be where you are. kind of thing. It's just, stalking was just viewed much differently in previous generations. Stalking was just love that hasn't happened yet. So yeah, Slide, Goo Goo Dolls, just a good song, and I don't know how many more adverbs, adjectives I can find to describe all these songs. 1324, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Run Through the Jungle. Creedence Clearwater Revival is one of those bands that the older I get, the more I appreciate them. And Run Through the Jungle is a really, really good song. And CCR might be the only instance where a singer goes solo and gets accused of stealing from himself. The Old Man is down the road ripping off, I think it was Run Through the Jungle that John Fogerty was sued for. And eventually it was thrown out because you can't plagiarize yourself. So, but Run Through the Jungle is a neat song. The Old Man's Down the Road is not on the playlist. I kind of felt like I had to go with one or the other. I went, Run Through the Jungle's the better song. 1323, Real Life, Send Me an Angel. One hit wonder, absolutely. 80s, there are some 80s one-hit wonders on this list. 1322, the song Queer by Garbage. This was the first song from Garbage I heard, and I was fascinated. I was like, that is a very different sound. And they had a very different look as well. Shirley Manson won me over very quickly, and I did get that album pretty quickly as well. And the album Garbage, just their self-titled debut album, I have listened to that one through more than almost any others. When I'm done the song list, I do want to do an album list, but I want to get the song list done first. I don't want to do the album list until the song list is done, or else everything gets kind of confusing. 1321, Honeymoon Suite, Love Changes Everything. Honeymoon Suite's going to be playing at the casino in Vancouver in the new year. I wouldn't mind seeing them, to be honest. I know they're old, and this is something that people, I don't know why you'd want to go and see these bands. They're old. Why would you want to go see Linkin Park? They're no good. I like going to see artists I haven't seen before. So there's that. The only exceptions for me, I would not go to a Def Leppard concert now because Def Leppard was my favorite band in the 80s, and I have heard live performances from Def Leppard over the last 10 years, and I don't feel like the quality is what it used to be. And if people disagree with me on that, that's fine. Doesn't bother me at all. That's one thing with me with the internet. I don't tell people that their opinions are necessarily wrong. For instance, I don't like country music, but I'm not going to say, well, if you like country music, you don't have taste. Just they have different tastes than I do. I just don't like country music. So if you're looking for country songs on this list, there's going to be a couple if you count Johnny Cash as being country. Other than that, probably not. Number 1320, Bananarama, The Wildlife. I know that everybody knows Cruel Summer. Some may know Robert De Niro's Waiting. Robert De Niro's Waiting is a fun song too. But The Wildlife is a great song. The Wildlife, I still really enjoy it. And if you took 80s me and you stood me in front of this board, first off, I'd go, holy crap, look at all these jerseys. What's going on? But the second thing I would say is, why is The Wildlife outside the top 1,000? Who are you and why did you steal my face, my skin, and everything? Actually, I would look at me now and go, why do I look like Dad? But yeah, The Wildlife, Bananarama, it's a good song. Yeah, definitely. I know I still haven't done the playlist. Bad THG or TEG, however you want to look at it. 1319 is Madonna, Who's That Girl? That was a song that went number one on my list as well. I loved that song the first time I heard it. So much like The Wildlife, Who's That Girl is one that I really, really liked when it first came out. And then as time went by, I'm like, well, I like that song. Yeah, it's a good song. Not going to put it as one of the great ones, so it does end up 1319, but it's a good song. 1318. Apologies for language, but it's the name of the song. Crazy Bitch by Buckcherry. This could get awkward when we get into a Motley Crue song later in the countdown, which, there's some cursing in that title, but what a great song. Anyways, Buckcherry, it's one of those instances where you can tell that a word is put into the title of a song as kind of a selling point. At least that's always how but I'm kind of cynical that way. I remember when swearing got into music, and there were times that I would hear it in a song and go, that's in there just so they can put that parental advisory sticker on the album. It really didn't need to swear there and just to go that they're edgy and that kind of thing. But Buckcherry, I never really got that impression from them on that one. I never wanted to see them live. I've had opportunities, and I've always been on Buckcherry. I know there's at least a couple of times where, and this is a long time ago. Number 1317, Maroon 5 is on the list. Animals. The one, I think it's the only Maroon 5 song that I have on the list is Animals. It is a fun song. It's a good song. And yeah, if we do an over-under on how many times I say fun on this playlist, don't. Don't make a drinking game out. Do not. Just don't. I don't need that kind of responsibility. But yeah, Maroon 5's never been a favorite of mine. I always kind of felt like they're overplayed, personally. They do sound different, but Animals is the only one on my playlist. Number 1316 is Tone Loc, Funky Cold Medina. And yet Wild Thing isn't on it. No, Wild Thing is not on the list. However, Funky Cold Medina is. I was singing that one a lot when it came out. I was humming it a lot. There are still times where just that beat, that tune, I'll get it stuck in my head. So it's kind of got to be on there. And then there was a point during my adolescence where I had a crush on somebody who had a name that was very close to Medina. And so I would just substitute her name in there and then just change the lyrics. Yeah, there's a reason my wife calls me a dork. It is a multifaceted dork in which, there's a lot of different facets of the dorkness that is me. And that's definitely one of them. 1315, before Even Flow by Pearl Jam was mocked by Adam Sandler, and beautifully done. It was a song that I would kind of make fun of every time my friends would put 10 on. But I will say Pearl Jam's 10, still a banger of an album. That is still, if you're on a road trip, that is a road trip album. You can listen to it from start to finish and start it all over again if you want. Even Flow is difficult to understand the words in certain parts of the song. It is kind of fun how Eddie Vedder sings it. So yeah, it still ends up on the countdown. 1314, back to the 80s, Wang Chung, Dance Hall Days. Dance Hall Days, I think I looked this one up like a few months ago. I was listening to it. So this is one that every now and then I'll listen to. I know that Everybody Have Fun Tonight is their bigger hit. It's not on my list. Everybody Have Fun Tonight, overplayed, to me kind of generic, kind of anthem-y. The weird thing with me is that songs that are anthems, I'm not usually a big fan of, but Dance Hall Days is definitely not an anthem. The interesting thing too is DAYS, so Dance Hall Days. I've also seen it spelled DAZE, Dance Hall Days. So a little different, but anyways. 1313, Magic by the Cars. So one thing that definitely makes me think back to music and remember it a little more clearly is, did I listen to it during the summer? Magic by the Cars, I definitely did. I remember those summer nights were still hot in the trailer. I lived in a trailer park growing up. It's still hot. Can't go to bed. And I would watch music videos late at night. And I remember Magic by the Cars being a big summer song. And there are a lot of songs that are on my favorite songs list that I think back to as summer songs. A lot of the Madonna songs were big summer songs as well. 1312, Tea Party, The River. I will be seeing Tea Party live. I'm excited about that one. That's Finger 11, Tea Party, and Headstones. I am so happy. 3 Canadian bands all in a row. I am so stoked about that. And I can't wait to hear The River by Tea Party live. Now that I've said it, now they won't play it. But there are a lot of Tea Party songs on this list. 1311, Michael Jackson, Want to Be Starting Something. Not a lot of Michael Jackson songs on my list, considering I did have Thriller. I did listen to Thriller a lot. It was my favorite album for a while as a kid. And Want to Be Starting Something, I always thought was an underrated song. He never did a video for it. I think that's part of the reason why it kind of falls by the wayside. But it has been sampled, I think, more than almost any other song off that album. It has been sampled a bunch. So, for good reason. Mama say, Mama sa, Mamakusa. I mean, why not? Why not sample that? Use that. Does that qualify as copyright? Well, we'll find out when this goes live. 1310. I know it has to be 5 seconds or longer, and it's why I don't even mess with song copyright. 1310, Crying Over You, Platinum Blonde. So there's another Canadian band. Platinum Blonde, a band that I liked for a while. It was hit and miss for me with Platinum Blonde. And then after that album with Crying Over You, and I had that album. I bought a Platinum Blonde album at one point in time in my life. I don't have it now, no. And I'm not buying another one. But Platinum Blonde's Crying Over You is a fun little tune. Was that a summer song as well? I seem to remember that it was. 1309, Alan Parsons Project's I Wouldn't Want to Be Like You. There are songs I like listening to when I'm not necessarily in a great mood. That's one of them. I Wouldn't Want to Be Like You is exactly what the title says it is. Alan Parsons is an artist that I listen to all the time, that I felt like I was on an island about, that nobody else was listening to him. So, yeah, Alan Parsons Project 1309. 1308, Lamal. I have not said that name in decades. Never Ending Story. So that is the theme to the movie Never Ending Story. What an absolutely amazing movie that is, which scared the living bejeepers out of kids. I remember the controversy with Never Ending Story when it came out. It's The Wolf. Yeah, parents were not happy that that movie was only rated PG. They were not happy at the time that came out. They felt that it was far too scary and far too intense. And Artax, right? I mean, to this day, you're like, the horse. I forgot the horse. Oh my God, I forgot the horse. Oh no. So yeah, Never Ending Story, great tune, great for that one. And then I should also throw out there, it's not on the list, but the love theme from Princess Bride too, that plays after the movie's done. Fantastic song there. Storybook Love. Yeah, Storybook Love. It's not on my pip on this list though. Number 1307, I Can't Wait by New Shoes. When I was putting this list together, I had heard that song on the radio, because I do like to listen to 80s radio here and there, and I was on the fence. Should that be on the list? And then, I was humming it to myself, and I'm like, yeah. New Shoes wasn't exactly a big band for a long time, but I Can't Wait was kind of an interesting video as well. And I think New Shoes are still around. I seem to remember looking them up and finding out they're still around. So good on them. They're not really new, though, anymore. Shouldn't they be old shoes? It's bad. It's awful. Forget I said that. 1306. Believe this is one of the ones from Donnie Darko. The Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen. So Echo and the Bunnymen, an odd band, a little different. If you like your alternate 80s music, alternative 80s music is Echo and the Bunnymen. And it's just, that's what they are. The Killing Moon, fun song, I guess. Sometimes I'll say fun song, even if it's not necessarily the happiest of subject matters. Sort of like 1305, This Love by Pantera. I go back and forth on this song. This song could have been a lot higher, but it could have been left off the list too. Pantera songs are weird that way. Walk, we all agree Walk is an absolutely fantastic, almost perfect song. But This Love, it's a good song. 1304, It's Been a While. Stained. That was overplayed. Yeah, that was overplayed. A lot. It's been a while since I've heard it, but when I hear it, I go, yeah, I don't know if I want to hear that right. That's the weird thing. Some of the songs on this playlist aren't ones that I would necessarily listen to all the way through, because I still feel like I already know that, but Stained. It's been a while. 1303, Striper, Free. Striper I got into in, I want to say 86 and 87 when I really got into Striper. And like I did. I really got into Striper. That was when To Hell with the Devil came out. Still a pretty good album. That's still a pretty good album. And Free was on that album. Honestly is not on my list. Honestly, for me, it was one of those ones that kind of wrecked a band. I think I could do a list at some point on songs that I feel like wrecked a band. And what I mean by that is, they get a hit song and they go, hey, let's make that song a bunch of times. We'll just keep making that song and money, money, money. I always felt like This Is How You Remind Me was one of the worst things to happen to Nickelback, because then there are other songs that it felt like they were trying to emulate the success they had before. And Whitesnake. Whitesnake, a big hit album, and David Coverdale's like, let's roll it back and do it again. Where I could actually pick which song he had kind of, you can't plagiarize yourself, but he kind of echoed a song from earlier. Anyway, whole other discussion for a whole other time. 1302, we're almost done. Sarah by Starship. And this is one of those ones too. Is it cheesy? Yeah, it's cheesy. Is it a good song? Yeah, it's still a good song. Starship is, of course, the the next form of Jefferson Airplane that became Jefferson Starship, that became Starship, and eventually Jefferson Airplane, I think, was touring at the same time Starship, and they had guys who were in one, and it was like, which one's the real, who's for what? But yeah, I don't think Jefferson Airplane, when they got touring again, were playing Sarah. So, but it's a good song that I seem to remember being a summer song as well. Now that I've said it out loud and it's clicking in my head that a lot of these songs I feel like I listened to during the summer on the radio. Radio is this thing that we used to listen to that didn't have pictures. 1301, Cypress Hill. I mentioned about rap and hip hop. Cypress Hill. To this day, I love Cypress Hill. The one rap group that I could see myself wanting to go to a concert and watch is Cypress Hill. What's Your Number? Great song. Great song. Might be a bit stalking related as well. But yeah, Cypress Hill, What's Your Number? Fun song. So there you go. If I don't write the names of the songs on the board, you get more description of the songs, and the video's about 10 minutes less. So progress. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for sharing this moment with me, where I like to go back down memory lane and all this. And it's one of those things that I've always liked to do, song lists. So here we are. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.